Hey guys, Magic's here, and welcome back to another MTGO Modern League. I decided to give Sultai Control or Bug Control a run and see how this deck fares in the current post-Astrolabe meta.
Push the goddamn button!
You heard what she said.
Okay, let's do a quick deck tech, if you will. Why Sultai Control? Well, I still think that Uro is one of the best things you can do if you want to play fair, and a good way to still enable it on turn 4 consistently is with the help of Thought Scour. But yeah, you could do that maybe even without Thought Scour, just play Opt or something and just go for the fair game, and eventually you get to your Urus anyways. I want to find out how good Thought Scour might perform. Also because I run Cling to Dust. I think that Cling to Dust is a pretty good card right now. Because you can kind of remove key cards from your opponent's graveyard that they target with Mystic Sanctuary. I've seen frantic inventories running around in Modern. There are still other Uro decks running around. It's also good against Dredge, maybe, if they only have the single Dredger in the graveyard. You can use it against Burn to gain 3, escape it, gain another 3, and that is already pretty damn strong. And if nothing else, you can at least cycle it against other decks because eventually they will put something in the graveyard. So I think it's a nice little value card and one of the main draws to go black, actually. Other reason to go black is, of course, Fatal Push. The question is always, is Fatal Push better in the meta right now than Path to Exile? Given that the Izzet Prowse deck is running around and a lot of Stoneforge decks, I think the answer is yes, because I don't want to ram my opponent in those matchups. Another draw is, of course, Abrupt Decay. That allows us to deal with artifacts like the Stoneforge equipments. It can kill Teferi Time Raveler, can also deal with Chalice of the Void, maybe Aether Vial, all kinds of stuff. Renin 6, also a big card on my radar. And it can deal with Blood Moon or maybe even Utopia Sprawl sometimes to screw your Drool mid-range players. Assassin's Trophy, kind of a catch-all, can also sometimes break up Tron, which is nice. And I guess the last draw to black really is Drown in the Lock, which can become an unconditional counter spell as well as a removal spell. So it's rarely really dead, but I don't go heavily into it because most of the times I want to Thought Scour myself. I think it is better than the third Mana Leak, simply because it has some more value in the late game. And is also good against Aether Vial / Cavern of Soul decks, but still. I run 2 Mana Leaks and 1 Remand here. The Remand could maybe be a third Mana Leak, but yeah, not the biggest fan of Mana Leak. Remand at least replaces itself. You can sometimes also remand your own spells to counter an opponent's counter spell, or maybe just remand your own Fatal Push to circumvent a Veil of Summer or something like that. Place it on the stack again. Some value to it, but it's I'm more testing it. It's not set in stone or anything. And even though I'm running a 3-color deck, I decided to run 3 Field of Ruins. That might be too greedy. I'm hoping that the Triome here can fix most of our mana issues. I don't want to go too heavy on the basics because, there's no real payoff anymore. Like, sure, you get a little bit better against Blood Moon, but I think that Blood Moon still hurts us nonetheless. Because in those matchups like Gruul, you have to fetch your swamp, your forest to deal with the Blood Moon after they deployed it with Abrupt Decay. Else you have to hold up your mana all the time, which is also okay. But I also don't want to draw like several islands in my starting hand when I have cards like Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, and Cling to Dust that I want to deploy on the first few turns. So I think on average this deck wants to fetch out a Shock or the Triome on turn 1 and then go from there. That's why I decided to fill out the slots with Field of Ruins. That makes sense. It can still fetch out islands, but also helps against Tron, Cavern of Souls, and all this nonsense. I also see some decks running around with Field of that, so I think it's necessary. I even saw this utility land that lets you put an enchantment back on top of your deck, like Shark Typhoon, for example. So I think you need some ways to deal with the opposing lands. And if this doesn't work out, then I think that's the main reason to go straight blue-white or something. But yeah, I've seen decklists that fill this out with more fetch lands. That's also a possibility. But yeah, I tried with the Field of Ruin. The only real downside I see here is that Archmage Charm becomes a little bit less reliant on turn 3. So we have to see how that performs. I still like Archmage's Charm though, if we can pull it off, because yeah, it can draw 2 cards at the end step. If nothing really happens, you sometimes can steal a nice 1-drop, and if nothing else, it's an unconditional counter spell, so also nice. Could also just see another Cryptic Command here, because it's easier with the mana base, maybe. Yeah, still 2 Cryptics. I think they are good and nice, especially with Mystic Sanctuary, but I'm not fond of the 3rd copy, actually, because it's so clunky in most of the matchups. Even in the control mirrors, Cryptic is usually one of the worst counter spells because it's so clunky and mana heavy, and this deck doesn't run a Growth Spiral or anything to gather more mana, and especially post-board when then you have Veil of Summer and Mystical Dispute and stuff like that. Cryptic is a little bit too expensive. So then I'm running 2 Jaces, 2 Shark Typhoons as additional finishers, because you could make an argument that Factor Fiction might be hot in this deck because it also fills the graveyard for Cling to Dust and Urus. But if the opponent brings in stuff like Rest in Peace, Leyline of the Void, and other graveyard hate, then having a finisher that isn't reliant on the graveyard, like Uro or Snapcaster Mage, I think has more upside. That's why I decided to run Jace and Shark Typhoon. I could also see the 5-mana Ashiok in here, or maybe even a Narset or something like that. Just another non-creature finisher that doesn't use the graveyard. I opted for Shark Typhoon because I don't want to tap out. Yes, I don't run Logic not to make a huge shark when we ever hardcast this, but I think if we hardcast the Shark Typhoon, we are in a spot where we probably win anyways. And it's nice in the mid game to just cycle it for 2 mana to maybe draw a card like a land drop, or later on it scales to just make another flying token that can block or pressure the opponent without tapping out when we don't have Force of Negation in hand. So yeah, it could be another 5-mana Planeswalker, the 2nd copy, but I try it out today. I see so much decks running around with their sharks, so want to give it a spin as well. And that is the main deck right now. So the only thing I'm not confident about are the Field of Ruins, and maybe Thought Scour is not necessary and Opt is better. To the sideboard, well, I still respect Tron and Eldrazi Tron because we don't run Path the Exiles, and stuff like Reality Smasher or sometimes even Thought-Knot Seer can really get us, because we don't always have the Revolt of Fatal Push. I mean, sure, we have 8 fetch lands plus Field of Ruin, but still. And Abrupt Decay also can't hit the big Eldrazi's. And without the Exile, even the Meta Reshaper is more annoying than with Path to Exile. So I run 3 Ceremonious Rejection. I could also see only 2 copies and another Mystical Dispute, but let's keep it at 3 copies right now. I haven't played Modern in a month now. I think I stopped playing the week before they announced the Astrolabe banning. and then I waited a few weeks to see how the meta will evolve from there. And it seems like Tron is not that big of a meta player, but I know that someone will always run it, and I'm not sure how good the Eldrazi Tron deck right now is with Chalice of the Void, so yeah. Could see only 2 copies, but for now it's 3. 2 Veil of Summer because we are running green and it's one of the best cards you can run in your sideboard. Helps forcing through your spells or protect us from discard, removal, whatever. 3 Aether Gusts because red and green is so dominant in the meta. It's good against any deck that runs those colors mostly and can remove Blood Moon. The Clothis that is indestructible and hard to deal with for us otherwise. And yeah, can also answer uncounterable Primeval Titans. 1 Mystical Dispute could be a second one with the Ceremonious Rejection or a third Veil of Summer, but I think another 1 mana counter against Time Raveler decks is nice to have. I also see several decks running around with a lot of Fact or Fictions and countering that for 1 and still have another counter open for their turn when they might drop a Wilderness Reclamation or something has some upside. So yeah, honestly, I could see the second copy of Mystical Dispute and maybe cut down on this rejection right now, but we shall see. 2 Damnations against Swarm decks. I also don't see that many running around in the meta. There's only really goblins, but I figure against those decks you want some mass removal, and I like Damnation because it just kills everything. It can pull you into the game from when you are behind, and you can put it back on your top with Mystic Sanctuary. So I think that are enough reasons to run it. We don't have Anger of the Gods, we don't have Supreme Verdict, so it can get countered against when we are playing against Merfolk or Death Shadow, but I don't see those decks at all right now, so I think Damnation is fine. And then we run Ashiok, and Spellbomb as additional graveyard hate, but Ashiok is also nice against Stoneforge decks, against other Uro decks. There's a lot of applications for this card, so I think 2 copies are fine right now. Nothing else you can pitch it to force, but yeah. Can also help to fill our own graveyard to turbo out an Uro. Like another reason for Thought Scour that just comes to my mind is that against the Clothis, it was hard to get the Uro down. Like you are maybe on the play, you play it on turn 3, you have it in your graveyard, but your graveyard is not full enough yet to escape it on turn 4. They play a Clothis and then just exile it on your before you can escape it. But with Thought Scour you can turbo it out through single target graveyard hate, so that might come into play. And the last card that I want to talk about is Elder Gargaroth. Well, this is just my green Baneslayer of sorts that is there to also make the red-green matchup a little bit better. It is also a finisher that is hard to deal with because besides Path to Exile, what really can kill it efficiently? It has 6/6, so Bolt won't kill it necessarily as soon as it blocks. It will give us value. It is never tapped, so we can always attack safely with it with Trample, and it has also Reach, so it can also block flyers. And kind of like Baneslayer, it gains us life. Sure, not 5, only 3, but at least you don't have to actually get the damage in. It just happens as you attack or block, so that might come into the has some upside in some situations. And if we don't need the life, well, we can also draw a card or make a 3/3 to just widen the board. So I think it might actually a little bit better. Sure, it doesn't have protection from dragons, so it might be that the Gruul opponent plays their Glorybringer and combines the Exert with a Lightning Bolt to deal with it. But still, that doesn't happen. I think on average the Gargaroth might be even more pushed than a Baneslayer, but we shall see how this goes. That was the main reason to bring in 1 additional copy. There are also several more cards you can play in this card combination. I mean, there's you can play Vendilion Clique, you can play Tireless Tracker, you can play Notion Thief. There's so many threats you can bring in that are not reliant on the graveyard. I'm running only the Gargaroth today, but I can see any of those cards in the sideboard really. Like, if the rejections are not needed in this capacity and the other counters are still fine, you can run any of those in this slot, probably, maybe even for the Spellbomb. Just respect Dredge, so I think that alongside the Cling to Dust and the Spellbomb, we can bridge the gap into an Ashiok or the Cryptic Lock, or yeah, get Uro going. So this is my plan for that matchup. And I like Spellbomb because it can also be brought in for value against other Uro decks or what have you. Just cheap and efficient, replaces itself, and yeah, we shall see how this goes. So I would say let's jump into the league now. Enough deck tech, let's go. All right, here we go on the draw. Match 1, game 1. I think the hand looks fine. This is the situation that comes up here with Archmage, Charm, and Field of Ruin, but we still have 2 land drops. We have Spell Snare and Drown on the Lock for the first few turns, and well, if we are playing a control mirror, we can fetch out the Triome and are probably fine there. Playing against Mishra's Bauble, which could mean Death Shadow. That is a tough matchup because if they run Gurmek Angler, well, Fatal Push is not as good as Path to Exile, of course. It's another reason to bring in Drown in the Lock in the main deck, but yeah, well, then again, if they exile their own graveyard for the delve cost, then Drown will never really kill a Gurmek Angler, and they pick the removal here. So Archmage's Charm can't deal with the Death Shadow, then again, and doesn't look that great right now. They start dropping some shadows now, like Fetch Shock, Double Shadow, and we are in a world of trouble. I guess would be in a world of trouble with any deck there situation. Talking about how Death Shadow isn't a deck right now, and then the opponent just plays it. Right. Drop the Triumph. It's our mana here. Alright. We found the mana for Archmage's Charm. I might actually want to cycle the Shark Typhoon here on 2 to find removal, because it's pretty dangerous. We can shock in the Breeding Pool, but let's wait what we draw. Want to fetch out, or can't fetch out Mystic Sanctuary yet. Take more turns, like shocking this in, playing the Field of Ruin and still wasting 2 more turns. Don't think we have the time for that, so probably have to cycle into a Fatal Push or something, go from there. Still has Stubborn Denial probably in hand and stuff like that. Spell Snare, a Snap for Thoughtseize. Take my 3 here. Let's fetch out an island. And lead on Archmage's Charm next turn. We don't get the Shark, but that would be a jump blocker only anyways, and he probably has at least 1 Fatal Push or something. Decay here is a very good draw. Very nice, and there comes the Mystic Sanctuary here. So let's ship back the turn. He has a K command. I guess I just pitch the Field of Ruin here. Snapcaster Mage. Sure. And let's see what happens next. Snap Thoughtseize. Alright, that sucks, but so be it. Tap out, play the decay. Then he can grab Cryptic or Archmage Charm. Play the fetch land, keep Sanctuary open. Probably has a Stubborn Denial in hand to prevent the Cryptic. Yeah, definitely want Decay on top probably. Against another Death Shadow, we still are at 13, so I don't fear the Snapcaster Mage yet. Probably need around 5 turns to kill us. Right. Don't have to put the Sanctuary on top if he doesn't deploy a Death Shadow here. I just would rather draw a random card. Play Field of Ruin probably next turn. Is this a fish? Probably is a fish. Well, if I play now into the Denial, it's the same as trying it in my turn, because then it will hard counter anyways, so... the bad thing is I can't do it twice. So... that sucks. Damn Gurmax. Where are you? Yeah, let's try it. He will counter it, I'm sure. Exactly. Snapcaster Mage. Then we can bounce it back to hand at least. We get to that. Drown doesn't do anything here. Can also try and draw 2. What are we looking for? Maybe an Assassin's Trophy? That could be fine here. He has a Teemo Battle Rage. Can't really stop this here. Let's wait. Maybe he plays a discard. The only card that makes sense here is Archmage Charm. And can also steal a Death Shadow if he has one in hand. If he has the Battle Rage, we are dead. For sure. Go to 3 here. I should have used this before. Maybe we find the Force of Negation to prevent a Lightning Bolt here. Just draw 2 more lands. Another Snapcaster Mage. You don't help at all. Playing into K Command now. My goal here is to bounce the Gurmag and draw a card and hope that he doesn't have another removal. He has the Stubborn Denial anyways, then nothing I can do. Yeah, that was brutal. Drawing all these lands after we already have 6 in play. Alright. Whale of Summer, Mystical Dispute, it's even the Spellbomb, the Yargaroth. do I not want? Force doesn't seem that exciting. Command is nice. Panel Leak is nice. Cling to Dust can be okay. Still like Uro here. I think that Cryptics are too slow. Really not that efficient. Sure, they can bounce Gurmag, but yeah, Gurmag I think is the biggest issue here because don't have Path to Exile to deal with it. It's a funny hand, but I think it can work. The Swamp ruins our Uro though. Maybe we can get to the Gargaroth. If he Thought seizes it, so be it. Let's actually lead with the Sanctuary. We can go push Thought Scour on 2 if we have to. We can also fetch out the Triome and just go with Thought Scour if nothing happens. Right. You're gonna pick? I don't think you pick Uro. Probably the Thought Scour. Yep, exactly. Okay, then we draw the Triome anyways. Then well, let's just play it here. Gives away information, but then we want to Uro on 3, I guess. Ramp ahead, leave the swamp open for Fatal Push afterwards. Can't play a Death Shadow yet, can't play Gurmag here. Unless he plays a Thought Scour of his own, now he can Gurmag. I guess this is a Breeding Pool. Then we have green. Just need another blue source. Maybe we can get Uro off. Yeah, here comes the Gurmag. Yes, the perfect card here. There's an argument that Damnation would be good against that, but unfortunately counterable, and playing 4 mana spell seem that great here. Alright, found a Watery Grave. In this case, can actually get the Uro into play next turn. Is that correct? We play the Watery Grave. Play out the Uro, play this. We put this back on top. Then we have... No, then we can't do that. Yeah. Shock here. Let's see what we draw. Uro. Another Delta. Can play our 6/6 next turn if he taps out or something. Now he picks Yargaroth. Okay. Go to 16 here. Right. Thing to dust. Right. Should turn back. So if we put Thought Scour on top now, could get the Uro off if he doesn't have another Surgical or something like that. Then we still hope that he doesn't have like a Mystical Dispute or something in hand. Or Fatal Push. Okay. Another Gourmet Angler. Yeah, damn it. You look bad right now, Cling to Dust. Then he leaves the bauble open because he probably has a fatal push here. 2 fishes. Not a single Death Shadow while we have fatal push in hand. Let's put that back on top. I was waiting for the Cling to Dust because he might have a snap in hand for the Surgical, but well. Let's draw the Thought Scour. Another Uro. Right. Spell Snare. Don't help. Go exactly to 7, unfortunately. We can't play any good removal here. Probably has a fatal push in hand. Can bet that he does. So I probably want to fetch again, because I don't expect any of those 2 cards doing anything. But I don't have my basic forest here. Yeah, great. That's the issue of Thought Scour, man. That's the issue of Thought Scour. So, yeah, screw this. Probably dead. We'll just fatal push the Uro, and we are dead. Really unfortunate. Yeah, goes. Yep, exactly. This sucks. Well, okay, we would have drawn a land anyways. There's the Assassin's Trophy. Too late. Just too late. Alright, that was match 1. Pretty disappointing. I think this matchup would be very easy with blue-white, but well. So be it. Next match. Right, this time on the play. Second match. Let's see. Mulligan. Better. The Force is only good if we keep the Shark Typhoon. So, guess we bottom the Decay here. Play Triome on 1 and then go from there. Please don't be a control mirror. Right, Junt or something. Takes push then. Then it wouldn't have mattered if we keep Decay or not. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Let's wait on the Sanctuary. King mulligans and then getting discarded is always brutal. Right. So they also run Cling to Dust nowadays. Sure. Picks the Force. Probably has Liliana or something in hand. Caster would have been good. Oh, okay. So another Death Shadow deck or what? At least they don't have Gourmet Angler. Double Shadow cards in hand, but he doesn't run blue, so if we can find a Fatal Push here, would be good. Trophy is also okay, and we find the Fatal Push. Alright. A little bit awkward here with all the sources. Shift the turn back. Thoughtseize. Awkward. Probably picks the snap here. At least we have 2 answers in hand still. It's funny how you talk in your deck tech, how I don't see Death Shadow in the meta right now because of all the aggressive decks and blue-white being so strong in the meta right now, and then we directly play 2 times against it. That's weird. Maybe I jinxed it. Come on, pick the snap here. Sure, he has Cling to Dust in the bin, but that costs 4. Have that. Alright, 1 removal against 1 Death Shadow. We find a Jace here, that would be cool. Thought Scour. Let's do that. Burrow into land. Nope, just junk. That's the downside of Thought Scour. It's just very random. This gives them the land drop for the Cling to Dust, unfortunately, and he has still 2 cards in hand, so... now Uro probably out of the picture. He has the 3rd Death Shadow. Wow. Insane. Where are my Jaces? Battle Rage here. Go to 11, 9. It's Cling to Dust, so Sanctuary won't do anything. Dumps up at Death Shadows here. And he still has another activation. So we're more than dead, I think. Can't rely on Uro here. Would have needed a Jace. Keep us in the game. Or maybe we can draw an Archmage Charm and then kill him with his own Death Shadow. This is a matchup where Ice Fang, Quartal, such a slam dunk. Right. Go to 2. Doesn't make any sense here to play the Dismember. Just wasted the card there. Cryptic Command. Buy ours in turn. Fully. to Dust to eat his Cling to Dust, and then there. Yes, sure. Uro. Yep, now he's tapped out, so let's go. Reading pool here. Go to 5. Maybe the second basic forest is actually pretty important for the deck. Get you back. Get back the lands. Drops his Death Shadow again, and then we still need to get out of this situation. Can't block the Street Wraith, so if he has a Teemo Battle Rage here, he gets us because I'm tapped out. Because I needed to fetch Shock, else I would be at 7. So then the basic forest gives us the game twice. Well, can't do anything about the decay. But he is tapped low for doing it like that, so can maybe still get Uro into play. Archmage Charm, so we steal that. Control here. Escape the Uro. This is good enough. Or we can't, because it's too mana intensive. Missing a blue source. Basic Swamp is awkward. Let's hold up Spell Snare at least. Maybe a Tarmogoyf or something. Can't use Cling to Dust twice, so we get at least the Uro next turn. And our Death Shadow is lethal as well. And we can catch a Tarmogoyf, so maybe we can turn it around here. Not if he has a Battle Rage. Yes, of course, but yeah, right, we have Spell Snare. Haha. Hahaha. Gotcha. Nice. Was a close one. Whale of Summer. Here, Cryptic is a little bit better. The opponent doesn't run counter spells. Can also bring in Damnation. Like the Remands, though. Spell Snare is okay against Goyf. Maybe Shark Typhoon is too slow. Play Aether Gust over Mana Leak, maybe. Because it still answers Tarmogoyf, but maybe 1 is enough. Still have Drown, still have Decay, Trophy, Push. I like the Cling to Dust. But let's try it like this. Might have Ashiok after Sideboard. But I don't think I want Mystical Dispute for that, so I have DK still. Yeah, let's try it like that. Maybe we are now to Threatlight and I should keep in my Sharks instead of the Gargaroth. But let's try this. Mana looks good. Maybe it's also hard to resolve the Uro against his Cling to Dust. Discard, discard. I mean, in game 1 it was still okay that we had the Shark Typhoon because we could cycle it, but this would have been 5-drop, like the 5-mana Ashiok. Have to rewatch if we would have made it. Not so sure. With Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's mana leak that. Already a breeding pool in hand. We can still fetch a Watery Grave. Don't want to take too much damage here, so let's play the basic. We also need the third island for the Archmage Charm, and of course he has Veil of Summer. Fuck it. Oh. Forgot about that, but he probably gets us with Veil anytime, so go. Now we lose everything and have to deal with this Tarmogoyf. Veil of Summer is brutal against us. Another reason to go just with blue-white. Well, now we have Veil of Summer of our own, but yeah, well. That would have been the better answer against this discard. Alright. So now we can get back our card here. Screw you. Where's my mana leak now? Okay, so he keeps in Battle Rages even after sideboard to 7, so I can't really go at Shock, else I put ourselves into lethal. Have a Damnation now? No, can't. Let's keep our options open. Another Battle Rage. Can at least counter that now. Let's go to 2. Thoughtseize. I can't counter. Can't counter. Yeah, great. Just great, just great. He can't play a Death Shadow here. Maybe a second Tarmogoyf and then we rip the nation? No. We get an Uro. Alright. It's a play we can make. Doesn't have Graveyard Hate. The Uro can maybe pull us out. Suspect him to have another Veil of Summer in hand. That makes sense. Which unfortunately counters the decay. Let's play that now without taking the damage. Up the Rainforest. Goes all in with a Battle Rage. We are forced to try the decay. If it doesn't do anything, we can see what happens. Alright, go to 4. Okay, no Battle Rage. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure, he has a Veil of Summer in hand, so trying out the decay now is lose. Don't want to fetch to 3 yet, just in case, so let's go into our turn. Fatal Push as well. Choose you. We keep the Thought Scour in, don't like mana leak here. The Cling to Dust seems too ambitious. Maybe that isn't true with our hand, because we fill the graveyard again, but then we probably want Uro, not Cling to Dust. Yeah, I think Thought Scour fills our graveyard again, but we already have the spells to get Uro back if he dies. I don't there. I think choose here. Keep this in the bin for Snapcaster Mage. Alright. Seven. Oh, we can still play the field, right? That is okay. Maybe we can get rid of his red source. Yeah, he has the Veil of Summer. Like I expected that. Alright. The whale. Could now put a spell on top, and yeah, using Field of Ruin then is a little awkward. Thinking using Field here on the peatland costs him a redraw, but okay, here comes Death Shadow. Just fine. Then we put the Archmage Charm back on top. Or rather the Fatal Push. He needs to have 2 Whale of Summers. Yeah, doesn't have that. Alright. Okay, so this time we won 2-0 against Death Shadow. So yeah, I think the big baddie here in this matchup is definitely Gourmag Angler, because our removal doesn't line up that well against it. And if I think more about the Whale of Summer here, we should have brought in simply more Aether Gusts to either fight it or just remove the Goy for good. But still, Uro proved very good if he doesn't have the hate against it. So, okay, let's go for the third match. Alright, match 3 on the play. Here we go. Mana looks good, hand looks good. Hopefully we play against an opponent that will run creatures. Guess we start with Misty Rainforest into Triome, just in case. Could play the Watery Grave tapped too. But I think getting out Triome is pretty much good value. Both of Nissar, so definitely a Noble Hierarch deck. Which means that Fatal Push hopefully has value. Also be a copycat deck. Who knows? So might want to hold up Mana Leak here. Let's go with Misty Rainforest, just in case. Because if nothing happens, we can just hatch out a breeding pool, I guess, to work towards Uro. And always this basic swarm preventing Uro on turn 4. I know that we might need it against maybe Burn, hatch out the basic for Fatal Push, but right now I think the mana base wants a second forest. Remand 6. Mana Leak that here, or use the Abrupt Decay. Sure, this is card disadvantage, and given that he picked a land with Oath of Nissar, maybe he doesn't have another one, so let's go ahead and Mana Leak here actually. Still pick the breeding pool. Maybe pays off. Maybe just will have another Ren, but it's like a good turn here. I would like an Uro into the swamp or Watery Grave. Cling to Dust. That is also nice. So yeah, let's play the tapped here. Don't expect us to need all the mana next turn, and saving some points of life. Good. Now we have 3 blue sources, so the next fetch land is a Mystic Sanctuary if we want to. Also have Cryptic and Archmage Charm available to us. Okay, he had the 3rd land drop after all. Okay, so it's a Saheeli deck. That is fine. We can use the decay here. Squire 1, sure. Let's see. Bottom, alright. So get rid of her. So far the fatal pushes aren't looking that hot. But yeah, okay, Cryptic here. Very good pickup. We don't need the Cryptic. We can also double fatal push and cling to dust. I really now want to find an Uro. Maybe even a Shark Typhoon. Archmage Charm. Snapcaster Mage, all fine draws here. Right. Mr. Land drop. Okay. Maybe Oath of Nithar was just Arcward. 4 mana up go. Could be Collected Company, but not in a deck like this, right? Let's risk it. Like, alright, there's a Shark Typhoon. Okay, I think we can cycle this here. Let's make a 1/1, whatever. Alright, Thought Scour. That is very good with the Cling to Dust here, and we find another counter. Okay, this game looks good so far. He can have a Spell Queller, but I'm fine with that. I mean, if he kills the Shark, we can push the Spell Queller. It's only 1/1, so probably nothing that scares him here, but every hit counts. Alright. What is your next play? Coiling Oracle. Yeah, I think that is a nice target for the Fatal Push. No need to Cryptic that here. So no need to Cryptic that. Or Noble, okay. Can't play it here. Or Unknowns. I think we push the Oracle just to prevent it as a blink target or something. And we Thought Scour ourselves here, I guess. Not find an Uro and bind 2 Assassin's Trophies. That is awkward, but now we have Mystic Sanctuary available as well. Next turn we have Cling to Dust plus Drown in the lock. Care about the Noble that much. Okay. I do care about the Fairy though. Can have a hard cast, Force of Negation here. So that would be awkward. Yeah, if he hard casts Force, no big deal. We put Decay on top, I guess. That's fine. If he down ticks, we can kill the Teferi with the Shark, so it's fine. Bounces the Shark, so be it. Shark. Yeah, I don't want to waste the Cryptic here yet. Right, hold up Cryptic plus Cling to Dust. Has a Noble in hand and 4 unknowns still. Just the Noble, sure. Anything else? Then let's get rid. Guess of the Teferi, he might have a Witness or something. 2, 3. Spell Snare, right. Catch of Ren and 6. Archmage Charm is also nice. I want to keep the cards in my bin though for an Uro. Ice Fang. Uh, 2, 4, untap, 1, 2, 3. I think counterbounce a land would be safer. Let's see. Plays the Copycat, untaps 1 land, and then could play Saheeli. Then he goes infinite, but if we draw a Force, that would be fine. So, yeah, let's risk it. We'll never find a better Cryptic turn here. Thing is that push can't prevent that here. Okay. Sure. 1. Bad happened. Alright. Having more lands here. Turn back. Archmage Charm up. Right. Now I think I will keep Field of Ruin open for a Copycat. Or for a Lurrus, for that matter. Can get an Ice Fang back. So let's try and counter that. You have the 3rd Force? No? Okay. Right. 12. To dust the Lurrus. Don't want the Mana Leak anymore. Don't need the Fatal Push. The Spell Snare is not needed. Still have to exile 2 more. If we draw a Snapcaster, then I like Archmage Charm still. Like the Decay against Planeswalkers. I like the Trophy. There. Right. Okay, here comes an Uro. It's okay. Ship the turn back. Next turn we can get the Uro. At 18. Okay, he has an Uro of his own. Like the deck of the opponent. It has an unfair plan to it. It can still run Ice Fang and Uro. Pretty decent. I would like to Cling to Dust it maybe actually, but if I put Cling to Dust on top now, we can still catch a Saheeli if he didn't rip another force, so I think we are in for Uro. Yeah, it's probably put Cling to Dust on top and eat his Uro out, but if he has another one in hand, that doesn't seem like a winning line, so actually we might want the Cryptic. Here, but the thing is also he can still have Path to Exiles. I don't know if they run it in 1 or something. Yeah, of course they do. Oh, to square one. Getting outgrinded here feels terrible, but he only has hit 7 land drops, where we have hit 9, so that is the difference here. This is Uro again. To draw it, bounce the Sanctuary. I think return a Sanctuary. Hope that we draw another card that draws us something. Be a Jace or something. Or draw another island. Ah. Fuck. We are flooding out here. Well. Draws another fetch land he gets us. Putting Cryptic now on top of the deck doesn't seem that great. This sucks. 30 cards deep into the deck. Never saw a snap. Jace here. Yeah, triple noble. Neck is coming. We still have some draws here. It's, yeah, well, Fatal Push. On 10 drops here. Yeah, this is GG. He copies the Oracle and just draws on and on and on. You came too late, Jace. Came too late. Aether Gust seems nice. push here. Spellbomb has value. Maybe Ashiok is actually better than Spellbomb here, because it also fills our own bin. Cling to Dust was okay in this matchup, but we drew too many lands, unfortunately. He might bring in Veil of Summer. It will make it really hard. That's why Aether Gust is still in the deck. Remand. Only one Damnation is okay. Like, usually I don't care about the Nobles or the other 1/1s. It's just all of our finishers came too late. Still have Path to Exile in the deck, so the Yargaroth doesn't seem that exciting. Tap out for the Ashiok, probably not. Right, like this. Into Dust is nice to prevent a witness or something. Basic Forest thing. Typhoon on it. Okay. Awkward mana for our opponent. The Clink Dust, bind a Cryptic. Play Field of Ruin or a basic island. We have Mystic Sanctuary for the Cryptic. Doesn't seem too horrible. We can also still Cling to Dust and Mana Leak, or crack Spellbomb plus Mana Leak. We plays a duel now. Yep, like that. Rest in peace. Example. Can have a Mystical Dispute. Yeah, it is weird that he brings Rest in Peace when he has Uru in his own deck, but well. Guess it's fine because Spellbomb still cycles, and so be it. Spell Snare. Maybe I should have used Cling to Dust before, but I guess the Mystical Dispute gets us here. Always. Now the Sanctuary doesn't do anything. So I guess we work towards this Shark Typhoon? Okay. Okay. Use Trophy on that, but it's okay. We are one land drop away from the Shark Typhoon hardcast. Can't answer that. Shark Army should fail. Nice thing, alright. Seems like you can't pay for the spell bomb. That is something I didn't know. Alright. Awkward, I guess. Is that spell bomb there? So I wonder if he did leave Uro or Reno 6 in the deck. Brings in Rest in Peace. Time Reveler. Yeah. Fortunately, yeah. Can't wait anymore. See if he has Path to Exile or another Ice Fang. To Exile, alright. Probably want more blue sources now. Also has the Force. Right. Well, now we are left with a dead Snap here. And an Aether Gust. Our opponent has also two unknowns. Now we have one Jace and one Shark Typhoon left to really win this, or maybe some Cryptics at least. Snow-covered forest. Leave the fetch in play in case Fatal Push or something. Hooray, Mana Leak. Great catch. At least we won't die to 1-1 anytime soon. Another Ambush Viper. That he doesn't play anything means probably that he has either more lands in hand or counter spells or something. Well, Lurus doesn't do much here, thanks to the Rest in Peace. Sure, have your Lurus. A land drops. 8, 9 land drops. Okay. This time our opponent also let a lot of land drops though. Away. Want him to give the Exalted trigger for the Lurus. Puts it on the bottom. Alright. Yeah. Why not? And again, we are in a situation where we die against Anemic Beasts. Can't do anything against that. I would need an Archmage Charm or something to draw up. Right, that can kill the Lurus at least. Where is my Shark Typhoon? Nope, just drawing basics. Like a champ. Yeah, well. Feels tough to lose here. I think we kind of flooded out in 2 games. Sucks to lose the rest in peace here. This deck simply lacks a lot of threats here. Aether Gust won't save us. GG's. Alright. Match 4. See what we face. Right. Burn. Then I keep a very weak hand here against Burn. Sense. Here, let me draw, please. Let me draw, please. Still looking for removal, not finding it. Instead we draw the 4-drop. Draw Mana Leak best here. Double Bolt? No, okay. Eidolon? Yep. Extra punishing. Come on, Fatal Push. Nope. That. These need to play on. Yep. Push too slow. I drew it. Alright, let's pick up the Aether Gusts. Let's pick up that Baneslayer. Remand, not the best. Like the Uro, like the Forces. Cryptic is too slow, and then 1 Jace. Very awkward mana, but we have the Fatal Push this time. So I have to fetch the Triome. I don't think we want to fetch Shock here. Further Triome here because of the mana situation. Push on 2 anyways. Alright. I think I might want 3 mana on turn 3. Don't want to get this into play later on tapped, so I think we get this out of the way right now. Hold up Fatal Push here. Follows with the Eidolon. Can at least use the Shark Typhoon. Wait, double Swift Spear. No triple Swift Spear, alright. Okay. Find the other Fatal Push, that is nice. Let's deny him the redraw here. I think that has value. Sure. It's nothing. Okay. Okay, then let's use the Cling to Dust and just get 3 life back. Up Force here. Bolts, alright. 12. Mana Leak. Okay, still don't want to shock here. Has 2 cards in hand. We are at a virtual 9. 7, I mean. Seal of Fire here. Still want to play a little bit around Skullcrack. Right. 9. Skewer the critics. 6-4. It's fine. Right. Back to 9. Now we're at a virtual 7. We still have Shark Typhoon in hand. Can put Cling to Dust on top, but there's no need right now. I guess if he plays a creature now, that would be my play. You know what? Let's grab the Force. This prevents his top deck burn spells. Create a 4/4 here, draw the Force. Let's go back to 11 and have the Fatal Push so we can safely attack. Jewel 9. It's one card in hand, so feel pretty good here. Whatever he plays, we just jam into it, and then we can escape the Uro. Sure. To 9, the Eidolon. And not that helpful right now. Maybe he has another land drop in hand, because he doesn't play out his card. He's trying to collect burn spells. Okay, 7. There, I figured that he runs this card. Oh, good! Do we now attack and just try to finish this with one Force back up to hope that the last card in his hand is not one of these one other burn spell? I think that is the best shot. We lose to another creature, but if the deck decides that we flood out again, I figure like balls to the walls. Let's go. This thing is for non-combat damage, so go to 1. You have it. Well, yeah, that's what I figured. Modo decides to flood us out and never give us the last card for Uro. Well, alright, good that we attacked. So he plays Incinerator. We only have Assassin's Trophy and Aether Gust to deal with that, but I don't think bringing in Cryptic for that is correct. Maybe Cryptic is better than Archmage Charm for that reason, simply because you can bounce it, but Mage Charm is cheaper. Yeah, maybe we put in Cryptic just in case. Seems awkward on the draw, but I think Archmage Charm is maybe also too ambitious. The triple blue on turn 3. Sure, it can steal a Swift Spear, but yeah, this hand is a hand, but I think it's a good one. This hand has removal, but only 2 mana removal, so won't get much better. Take a mulligan to 5. Seal of Fire. Okay, so he might have a turn 2 Incinerator that we have to trophy then. So the island doesn't help us here yet, so I guess we go for the Triumph. Then we probably have to shock. So if we go with the Triumph and want to present Decay and Trophy on 2, I think leading with Delta here is correct, because we will need the forest more than the basic swamp due to Uro. So I think we go with Delta into Triumph. Answer an Incinerator with a Trophy. If he plays something else, we still have Decay, and well, if he does only spells, then that's that. Before the trigger, I will fetch because I don't want to draw the Triome here. Right. And we draw an Uro. That is not the worst. This is already our long-term win condition here. Like trying to delay this game and play the Uro. Press all these seals. Alright. So definitely correct to go for the basic forest here. Then we have the green sources, the island, so we only need another blue source to have the Uro mana. Also a Jace to bounce, so here comes the Incinerator, I guess. Skewer the critics, sure. 12. Goblin Guide trigger, let's fetch out the basic now again. Basic forest. Trigger. Nice, that's the land drop. Incinerator. This is good with the seal because the seal is now Boros Charm, so choice here. We have to kill this. Did not use the seal. Why? Does he have more? Weird. Okay. Now the question is, do we Thought Scour? Like, we have the cards in the bin for the Uro already, and we can pitch the Thought Scour to a Force. Can also pitch a Jace. There's another Incinerator here. This is an Eidolon. X less, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage. So 6 minus 2 is 4 mana. So he can't play that here yet. So let's Thought Scour ourselves. Bring to dust. Very nice, very nice. Also one in the bin. This is also very nice here. Let's bounce the Eidolon. We have a lot of life gain in hand. Now it's just a matter of survive long enough. No place here, okay. Maybe his hand is Eidolon flooded. Bounce. Go away, Eidolon. Sure, he bolts the Jace. Not fight about that. By Jace. Go away, Eidolon. My Uro out, so win condition now in the graveyard. Let's go. Response to Eidolon, we can still eat the Incinerator out of the bin. Yes. Okay. Go to 10. Link to dust. To 12. Wow. Now we are flooded with forces. Let's go Uro. Sure. To 9. He has an Eidolon and one unknown in hand. Draw our Baneslayer. Alright, let's see what he can do here. Okay, then only one unknown in hand. Okay, so he goes all in for the creatures. That isn't too scary. So drew the Aether Gust here. Alright. Let's go. Play my 6/6 army out. Next turn he has to block. We are still at 12. He has only 2 unknowns. Take at least 4 and go to 8, but I don't think he can kill us from this position. Not if we gain 3 life with the Yargaroth, so yeah, exactly. Alright, see you back for the last match. Alright, the last match. We go first. Let's see if we can make the 3-2. A little bit mana heavy, but we have turned to Remand into Mana Leak into Cryptic. So if we don't face a Cavern of Souls / Aether Vial deck, I think this hand is fine. So let's keep it. The mana situation is also very nice here. So we lead on the Triome. I like the Triome in this deck really a lot. Makes the mana situation so easy most of the times. Elves, alright. Well, probably a tough game 1. I don't want to shock here, but I want to use this Delta for a possible Mystic Sanctuary. Maybe that is too greedy. Yeah. Now, usually I would say with a Cryptic Lock we win this, but if they run green-black for the elf that can drain, then it becomes dangerous. So, okay, I wanted to save a counter for a Heritage Druid, but maybe it's still coming if they have a land drop. So, but now this is tapped, so they can't make mana, I guess. Island, sure. Recycle the Remand here, probably not. Do we? Yeah, let's maybe try and find some removal or an Uro or something. Okay. Okay, he's missing a land drop, so we not. We do not, but yeah. Alright. Guess we can't work towards this Cryptic then. Right. Definitely counter the Lord here. Let's hope that he continues missing land drops. We can maybe get him this way. This is the matchup where I want Legio Engineer, but I figured since I don't run K commands and I use Thought Scour, I rather want spells to put them back on top with Mystic Sanctuary instead of a creature. Though I think that Legio Engineer would just slaughter elves. But yeah, can't have it all. Alright. Okay, he found his land drop now. Scour. And I want to work towards an Uro, but they don't let us. Just don't let us. Let's prevent him from going wide. Just counter whatever I can here, like Go away, elves. Okay, he has another one, unfortunately. Wow, got 2 Beast Whisperers out of that. Right. Abrupt Decay. Well, not drawing what I really need here right now. Get the second Mystic Sanctuary. Have to prevent their big payoffs now. Visionary is not it, so let that resolve. Seems like they are mono green and don't have black here, so maybe we can Cryptic lock them. Sentinel, sure. So only 1 card in hand. Tap draw. Not getting anywhere really with this line though. But yeah. They don't have the Drain Elf, then we just do this for a few turns, I guess. Need another Cryptic or an Uro to draw into the Cryptic all the time, so maybe even a Jace. 2, 4, 2. So I can take 1 hit. Now the thing is, we really don't have the Uro here right now. Have to counter lead the Stampede though. Oh, damn it. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 damage. Then we go to 7 already. So yeah, Mana Leak doesn't do anything here. That is the issue. So if I counter draw, I don't have the lock anymore. If I counter bounce, then I have to hold up 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. The land drop. We have only 3 in place, so I can't build the lock here. Yeah, really unfortunate. So many lands in a row. It's like I have to counter draw. I have to find something. I don't know what this something is. Which ain't it. Okay, this card. There's another 2/2. Oh man. Maybe my attack was to 10. It's Uro. Uro. There we go. Now I have to find the other Cryptic though. A little bit too late, my friend. But at least we gain 3 life each turn, so it doesn't rip now. Can maybe stabilize. Please don't rip a lead the Stampede here. everything, alright. Block here, block here, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. The Mana Leak open for now. A 1 mana elf. That is not something I want to leak. Definitely don't have issues drawing lands with this deck. Yeah, now we draw a Mana Leak. Great. So he deals 3 more per turn than we, but have the faster clock, I guess. We'll want to keep onto this Fatal Push. Okay, that's too greedy. We can still counter your Lord, who knows. Snapcaster Mage would also be fine here. Draw another land instead. Give me at least a Jace or something. Cling to Dust, alright. Now he goes to 6. He can't kill us next turn, I think, even if he has a Lord. And Snare 2-drop. Perfect. Okay. I think we used that once to buy us a turn. Fetch land in play. Right. Would have drawn a Snapcaster Mage then. Then more lands, alright. Damnation in. Ashiok can't stop Lethal Stampede, only the Court of Callings, but that's not a winning line. Like Aether Gust though. Like Fatal Push. Dust is a little bit too cute. So like the Cryptic since he doesn't run black. Need all the removal. Didn't see any caverns, so I think Spell Snare is fine. Not a fan of Remand, but we need some form of counter against their lead system Stampede. So we have still drawn in the locked counter. Aether Gust is more a removal spell than really a counter, because they will just put it back on top, so I guess we cut 1 Cling to Dust. Maybe bring in our Baneslayer to go wide, and cut the other Cling to Dust, and go from there. Have some Arcward top decks, but besides Mana Leak, most of our stuff has a target at least. So let's try and rip Damnation. Shark Typhoon can cycle also and create a blocker at least. But yeah, definitely would prefer Plague Engineer here. But come on, who thinks about elves when building the deck? I do not, so well, let's try this. Only have 4 Fatal Pushes in the deck, so no guarantee here. Now he can go double 1-drop elf, create 3 green for an Arc Druid. Another heritage, right? Yep, make 3 green. Shit. On the draw, can't counter that. Then he refills his hand. Brutal. Finds 5 elves, of course, and yeah, just has a fresh 7-card hand. Well, guess you need the forces after all, huh? Yeah, so far behind right now that I needed a nation to be back in this game, but that's nearly impossible here due to our mana situation. Like you engineer, where are you? It's a clan caller. Well, the engineer would still kill everything, but yeah, it's not in the deck, so I really have to rip land into Damnation now, or else we lose. That ain't it, so we are probably dead here. That is a creature you can't let hit the battlefield, like. That's just too good. Yeah, that's GG. Too late, Damnation, too late. So even if we deploy the Damnation here, we are tapped out again. Just redeploys all his hand because he just draws on now. Way too late. Would have needed to be on the play or draw one of the fatal pushes. Was a loose keep, I think. So I deserved that. Given what we just saw, do I want the mana leaks? The thing is, sure, Force can catch the Lethal Stampedes, but Mana Leak can at least counter a lot on 2, so. I know that Mana Leak sucks, but. Maybe with Aether Gust, actually want the Forces simply because most of their redraw spells are, yeah, sorceries. Maybe they also have Choke or something. Oh. Single fetch land over Mystic Sanctuary, then I would keep that. Oh, this is a greedy hand. Would be so nice if we would draw fetch land here, because then we have push, snap push, Thought Scour, maybe Archmage Charm on 3. It's risky, maybe to lose, but let's go. I risk it. Good Sword Scour keep. Now I need a fetch land SAP. Perfect. Worked out for once. It worked out. Now we are still missing green mana here, but what can you do? Now we hope to rip another fetch land, probably. It's yeah. Okay. Would have been great if we could have milled the nation here, then we could have put it back on top of the sanctuary. At least we have now an Aether Gust. It's okay. creates more mana, so it sucks, but can you choke me now? Sit back on top. Makes sense. Let's take away the Heritage Druid here. I think I'm still in for Thought Scouring myself and try to find the Damnation. So, given that, do we take away the Heritage Druid here? Maybe the answer is yes, actually. Also have a blocker. It's an interesting turn. So we still have Snap, Fatal Push to also deal with that. Yeah, so let's rather Thought Scour ourselves. There's the Damnation. Alright. So we could let it happen. We also have the mana for it. Right. So we know that he draws an Elite, and he still has only 2 other cards in hand, so I know this telegraphs our move, but let's try this. Okay, if he does this move, then we don't have to use the Damnation, right? It's not like we are forced to do it. Can have a collected company here, but let's draw 2. Right? Just chip the turn back. Like, I don't have to move here yet. So he has an Elite and 2 unknowns. Beast Whisperer. I mean, the untap happens. No, I don't think I care about the Beast Whisperer yet. That is fine. So now he... See? Can't tap any more mana here, so... Like, we don't have to use this Damnation here, it's just that we have it as insurance in our hand. Right. Do we need another Sanctuary here? I don't think so. Not yet. Can't just play Uro out. For now. Put it in the bin. Keep up Aether Gust. Perfect. So if something goes wrong, we still have Damnation. If not, well, yeah. This feels good now. Another Beast Whisperer. Sure. Take here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's actually... Take back on top. No, we don't have to. We still have Aether Gust here, so we can Damnation now. Keep Aether Gust against the big spell, so yeah, we keep drawing some cards for now. Alright, that changes it. Fine. Get my 3-for-1 here. Keep up Aether Gust, and then we go with Uro next turn. Dominance Elite doesn't do a lot right now, sure. Play the Elite. Alright, and then he has only one more card in hand, so I don't think he has a lot of comeback potential here. So now we put back the Cryptic. Sure, we could put Damnation back on top, but I think now with Cryptic and Uro in play, then this is far stronger. Then we still have an Aether Gust in case he tries to rebuild. And with Uro on the battlefield and the Cryptic lock then going on, I don't think he has a way out. Alright, and yeah, with that he concedes. Alright, so we made it into a 3-2 in the end. Wait, I have to change back shortly with my OBS here. Let's go. No, not to SFM. Let's go back to bug control. So I think 24 lands is enough. We flooded out more than plenty. I still liked Field of Ruin in the deck in case you play against Cavern of Souls or Tron or something like that. Honestly, though, I think the mana base needs a second forest because it's really awkward if you mill it over. So maybe only 2 Field of Ruin is correct, but you definitely want 1, so I'm not entirely sure. The Thought Scours, yeah, well, in some games they were useful to use Cling to Dust a few times, but I think on average they are really bad. The randomness of the draw really sucks. Sure, in the last game we could find the Damnation this way and put it back on top with the Mystic Sanctuary, that was nice. But milling over your win conditions really hurts if the opponent has a way to deal with the Uro. Like, if the graveyard is blocked for us and the Uro is out of the picture, we will never be able to win a game with Snapcaster Mage alone, and only 2 Jaces and the 2 Shark Typhoons are too few win conditions in my opinion. Like, I know in the blue-white deck you run at least 2 more Teferis that can really steal the game. So I think cutting the Thought Scours for opts and then just try to play the long game the fair way would be advantage, because there's seldom a game where you really want to slam that Uro on turn 4, right? It's really not that necessary. And there are so many decks that abuse their graveyards that using Thought Scour on them is also not that great. I mean, sure, if they put a card back on top with their own Sanctuary, you can make the cute play to Thought Scour them so that the card is lost again. Like you do it sometimes in Commander when they use Vampiric Tutor or Mystical Tutor or something like that. If you have the Thought Scour, you can then get them for some value, but I don't know, I really don't like the randomness of it. And I think on average, with Opt, you find more what you need, and you still play a fair game of Magic, so the Uro will be online eventually, but then you become... I mean, what is really in the format as Graveyard Hate right now? If they run Rest in Peace, Thought Scour won't make a difference. Because unlike Tessigur, you can't get the Uro out on turn 2. You always have to at least wait till turn 4, and it gives them plenty of time to find a solution. You will not out ramp, in quotation marks, get them with the Thought Scour when they have a relic or something like that, even Cling to Dust, because you would need to cycle the Uro and escape it in 1 turn, which means 7 mana. So that also makes it awkward. So yeah, in the end, the only real upside to the Thought Scour, in my opinion, is that you can mill spells over in the early game to put them back on top with the Sanctuary on turn 4, like we did with the Damnation in this Elves game. But is that really worth it? Like, I don't think so. If we would run Delve creatures, like Gurmag or Tessigur, I think the Thought Scour would become better, simply because you can deploy those creatures on turn 2, then I can see it. But in this shell, I would rather play Opt and actually find what we need. Don't mill over our basic forest because it's so important. Then we can keep the 24 lands with the Field of Ruins. Key to that is the Triome. I really like the Triome. Like, you fetch this out on the first turn tapped, or whenever you can, and your mana situation is nearly perfect from there on out. So that is pretty nice. That also makes me think if you could run a blue-white deck, right, where you can slam a single Triome, the Jeskai Triome maybe, and get access to a red sideboard this way. Like, if you still have issues against Titan decks, maybe run a Blood Moon again in the sideboard. Like, all your fetch lands can grab it. You want to run 8 fetch lands anyways, because you run Mystic Sanctuary and the Blood Moon shuts them off totally. Maybe that is a way. What else can red give you? You can get access to, is it Static Caster in place of Legio Engineer, if that is something you want maybe against goblins. Because in that matchup I figured that a single Supreme Verdict is not enough, because they just follow up with a Matron, put a Ringleader in their hand, and maybe flash it in with a Vial, or cast it next turn with an Cavern of Souls, and if you don't have that Aether Gust, they can really get you. And even if you have the Aether Gust, you still need a way to reshuffle, so you need a Field of Ruin to follow up and stuff like that. And yeah, the Goblins matchup is really tough without red. Maybe you can even run Lightning Bolts then in the deck and simply run like 3 red sources or something like that. I don't know. But the Triomes are certainly an option to really improve the 3-color mana bases. Besides that, DK was okay. This was not a league where it was insane, mainly because it couldn't kill Gurmag Angler. This deck really has an issue with that, but I like just unfortunate that we run into a Gurmag Angler deck in the first match. I think on average this is not a card I would consider when I build my modern deck right now. So if we compare this to a blue-white deck, and yeah, we lose the black cards for Path to Exile and either a Stoneforge package or simply Teferi Time Raveler and whatnot. I don't know if blue-white is really better in the meta right now. Sure, the Frantic Inventory helps drawing a lot of cards, but issue is not drawing cards, it's surviving with blue-white. And I don't think the inventory helps you with that. I don't think Shark Typhoon on average will keep you alive. So while I like it in a Stoneforge deck, because the Shark token can simply grab the sword and fly in, I don't like the Shark Typhoon in every control build. I mean, it's never really a bad card, but it's a slot that could be used for maybe a stronger finisher. I guess in a deck with white, you can really run the Hall of Heliod's Generosity. I think that is the name. Oh, can I find it? Hall of Heliod. Maybe that is enough. Set the quantity to 0. This one. This is the land I mean. Then you can put the Shark Typhoon always back on the top in the late game and draw 2. Or, use that to just draw a random card and create a shark. Or to hardcast it then, and from there on, every card you cast becomes a big shark token. I think in a white deck it makes more sense, but in this shell, I think I would rather run 5 mana Ashiok for at least another Shark Typhoon. What is its name? Nightmare Muse, I think. Don't have it yet, but it's also not the world. It's like 1 ticket or something like that. This one here. I know that Nassif run it some time ago when Icefang was still in the deck. So it finishes the game pretty quickly because it creates 2/3s that block very well, and whenever they block or attack, we exile the top 2 cards of our opponent's libraries, and a few turns later we just cast all these spells for free, so it really will finish the game pretty quickly. I like it as a finisher. If nothing else, you can pitch it to Force, so I think that's good. The mana base, even with all the basic islands, felt okay. We could cast Archmage Charms most of the times. Still like the mode to cycle it. I don't think you need more than 2 Cryptics on average. Uro was as strong as ever if it hits the battlefield. And yeah, we could only resolve the Yargaroth 1 time against Burn, but then of course if you can untap with it, it wins. I like it still. I think it's a good replacement for Baneslayer in green. And I think that this card is pretty good to run. Doesn't need the graveyard. It's 6/6 for 5. It has a lot of keywords, a lot of abilities. One of those pushed cards out of standard, and yeah. Ceremonious Rejections never came into play. We never faced a deck where we really want Mystical Dispute. Only Grixis Death Shadow, I guess, but yeah. So Spellbomb also, like, we never hit Dredge, so it was okay, but well. Of course, sideboard is hit or miss, but I like the main deck overall. Maybe Thought Scour can go for opt, and then you just go from there. Maybe Remand can become the 3rd mana leak or just another drawn in the lock, but having still 3 turn 2 spells that can answer in Primeval Titan if they don't have the Cavern of Souls is pretty good. And the occasional Remand to win a counter war or get a flashback seems okay. Also helps as an extra draw to get another land drop or something. And yeah, one of the main reasons to run black is definitely Cling to Dust, because so many decks are using the graveyard as value, so having a nice value answer that you can run in the main deck that replaces itself if nothing else happens, unlike Surgical Extraction, is definitely nice, and also because it's so flexible that it can also help against Burn, like it definitely decided game 2, where we won on 1 life, and Cling to Dust netted us 6 in that game. So yeah, overall, if Fatal Push is good, I think this deck is also good. The mana base, of course, if you don't want to be greedy, you can also kick all the Field of Ruins, but I think right now you need some form to interact with their lands, and if you don't run Field of Ruins, I think you want at least some Fulminator Mages in the sideboard. But since we are not running Grixis with K commands, I don't think that a few Fulminator Mages nowadays make a difference against Tron, Titan, or whatever. So yeah, without Red for Blood Moon, then like, does it? I think you're forced to run Field, and honestly, it was fine in most of our games, so should be okay. Anyways, enough talking. I hope you enjoyed this leak. I think next time I will try out blue-white. I expect that deck to have a little bit more problems against creature decks, though. Maybe I'm wrong, but without Uro as life gain, you are kind of forced to run Stoneforge Mystic then, because you need Better Skull to gain some life and stabilize the game. It makes you, though, vulnerable against certain decks like Junt that don't really care about your Stoneforge Mystics and are just happily waiting to get that K command value. Maybe it's still fine, but I have to find that out. And if I would run blue-white, I would run Shark Typhoon version probably. The Fairy Time Reveler, then the Jaces. Then you need more interaction in the sideboard against graveyards. Yeah, I have to think about it. We'll probably run a Stoneforge version next or something like that. Maybe not. We will see. Anyways, have a great day, and till next time. Bye bye.